Greetings and welcome back to the channel for Everyday Light. I hope you're having a blessed day, and today we will be talking about resolving a tech issue that hopefully will help someone out there that was having the same issue that I was having, and that involves a new computer build booting to a black screen. So if you're having that issue, you came to the right video, and let's hop right in. So this was my first computer build, and I used a PC part picker website to piece together all the pieces I needed for the build. And I had in mind when building it just someone who would be using it for normal everyday tasks such as email, maybe watching YouTube videos, Office 365 apps, nothing too crazy. So I ordered all the parts and everything arrived and pieced it all together. Finally got all put together and it wouldn't turn on. Basically what would happen was you would turn it on and the CPU fan would just go zzz. It'd spin for like a second and then just not do anything. So essentially I unplugged everything, reconnected everything, and I believe it was the connection either between the board and the CPU or the board and the power supply. It was connected, but it wasn't like fully clipped in. So once I did that, then that at least got to go on. And I was very happy. So turned it on, everything's running. I'm like, yes, I have a running computer. And, but then nothing was coming up on the screen. It was a black screen. So what I did was the graphics card I was using was an NVIDIA K2200. So that has one DVI port and two display ports. So I tried different cables, swapping out the cables. I made sure the cables were good by testing it with another computer. I tried all those and that didn't work. I made sure I was using the dedicated graphics card ports and not the default ports on the motherboard. Although I did try the motherboard ports just to make sure, just to see what would happen, but it was still booting to the black screen. So, and then at that point I was like, well, what do I do now? So I tried reseating the RAM. I disconnected, reconnected the graphics card. I even detached the CPU from the board, reconnected that, made sure everything was good there. And after that, I was like, it's still just booting to the black screen. I'm like, oh no, did I get a defective part or something? But I just started researching online, and what I found was a lot of forums saying like update the BIOS, update the graphics driver. Well, I can't update the graphics driver because I don't have an OS installed. I don't have a screen to look at. So that wasn't an option. A couple forums suggested updating the BIOS to get the to get something on the screen. So I got the BIOS file on a USB flash drive, plugged it in, booted up the computer, tapped delete or F2, and still nothing. So I was like, okay, tried it again, tried a couple different ways of doing that. I power cycled it, unplugged from power, and drained residual power, tried all that. Still getting the black screen. So finally I was like, okay, I think I need a new board. So from what I found online, essentially there's motherboards with the capability, and essentially you don't need to see anything on the screen for it to update the BIOS. You just plug in you get the BIOS file on your USB flash drive, plug it into the USB-A port. There's a dedicated port on the board specifically for updating the BIOS, and you just hold down this BIOS option and it'll update it. So the button's called the Flash BIOS button. So you hold down the Flash BIOS button for 3 seconds with your USB flash drive in there, and then it just updates the BIOS with the file you put on the drive automatically, and you don't even need to see anything on the screen. So I ended up sending the Asus Pro B550 M-C board back, and then I ordered an MSI B550 MAG Tomahawk board, and pretty equivalent. And yeah, it worked great. I got the board. Of course, I was kind of like, oh no, I have to reinstall everything, but ended up being pretty simple and just reconnecting all the components. And this whole time I'm hoping, like, I hope it's this and not some other part. So got everything connected and turned it on with the MSI board. Same thing, got the black screen. So I was like, well, what do I do now? So I got the BIOS file onto my USB flash drive, plugged it into that dedicated port on the MSI board, and then booted up the computer, held down that little flash BIOS button for 3 seconds, and then I could see that it was working. Essentially, it was updating the BIOS because the fans were doing some things in like a certain pattern, and you could kind of tell it was working. So I was like, yes. So after that took about 20 minutes to update. And then once that updated, the computer finally rebooted. And then I was able to turn it on, and voila, I had stuff on the screen. So I booted up to the MSI boot menu option screen, and I was leaping for joy inside, and it's very cool. So that's what worked for me, having a board with that flash BIOS button where you don't even need to see anything on the screen to update the BIOS. And once I did that, there were still a couple of things I had to do. I had to update the graphics driver in order to get the display ports to work with the monitor, because even after updating the BIOS, only the DVI port would work with the monitors. But once I updated the NVIDIA graphics drivers, then either the DVI or display ports worked. So yeah, that's kind of how I got that working. So if you have a new computer build, and it's booting to that black screen, I would first try reseating the RAM, reseat the graphics card, make sure you didn't get like a defective component. But once all that stuff's working, maybe even reseat the SSD. But if all that's working and it's still turning on, you're getting fans, you're getting lights, but you're just getting a black screen, then you probably do need to update the BIOS. And if your motherboard doesn't have that dedicated port where you can just hold down the button and update it with the flash BIOS option, you might need to get a board with that option in order for your build to work. But yeah, hopefully this video helped you, and I hope you have a wonderful day, and we'll see you next time.